Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, I'm reviewing a game that has caught the attention of a lot of Dragon Ball fans, Dragon Ball Legendary Warrior. But before we get into the details, I want to make one thing crystal clear so you don't go in with the wrong expectations. This is not an official product from Bandai Namco or Toei Animation. Instead, it's a gacha RPG released through the X7 game platform, a mobile gaming platform that specializes in collecting various mobile games while offering massive top-up discounts, sometimes up to 99.5%, along with daily rewards for new players. If you're curious and want to try games like this without spending too much, you can download the X7 game app and check it out. The app also has a gift code section, so make sure to check it every day. If you don't see any codes on a particular day, it simply means they've already expired, so keep checking regularly so you don't miss any rewards. Now let's get back to the main topic and take a closer look at what Dragon Ball Legendary Warrior does well and where it falls short. First, let's talk about the game's genre and overall approach. This is a gacha RPG that combines open-world exploration with target-lock combat, meaning you move your character around while attacking enemies that have already been targeted. You'll get to play as familiar warriors like Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo as you progress through the story quests. It sounds exciting on paper, but this is actually a very common formula among anime-style mobile gacha games, so there's nothing particularly groundbreaking here. The feature that's advertised the most is the transformation system. The game lets you transform into legendary Super Saiyan forms like Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, and it even includes forms that never existed in the original series, such as Goku's Super Saiyan 5 or Broly's God of Destruction form. This is clearly designed to attract curious Dragon Ball fans because, let's be honest, who wouldn't want to try these what-if transformations? However, the actual mechanics behind unlocking and maintaining these forms are fairly unclear. From what I've seen, they mostly revolve around pulling high-rarity characters through the gacha system. Speaking of characters, they're the backbone of the entire game, and the system follows the typical gacha formula. You can collect hundreds of heroes from across the Dragon Ball universe, including protagonists, supporting characters, and villains. However, obtaining the strongest characters, especially those with SR, UR, or LR rarity, depends almost entirely on your luck when summoning. That's also why most community content focuses on summon sessions and building the strongest meta teams instead of creating teams based on personal favorites. Character progression comes from earning EXP through modes like Story and Arena, and from what I've seen, each character has a maximum level of 5. The game also features a form completion system where you need to stay in a specific transformation for a certain amount of time to increase its completion rate. It's very similar to the long-term evolution systems found in many MMORPGs. Overall, if you're someone who enjoys building teams based on your own preferences, you may find this game a little frustrating because it strongly encourages following the current meta. Now let's move on to what I think many of you care about the most: the graphics, performance, and sound. From a marketing perspective, X7 Games' promotional channels consistently present the game as having impressive visuals using familiar buzzwords like HD graphics, next-level graphics, and 60 FPS gameplay. Those phrases definitely sound appealing, but based on what I've observed, they seem a little exaggerated. Reaching 60 FPS may only be possible under ideal recording conditions or at lower resolutions, so it doesn't necessarily reflect the experience on every device. Within the community, I've also seen quite a few negative opinions regarding the art style. Many players say the sprites don't look very good, while others criticize the battle interface for feeling cluttered and lacking polish. There's a noticeable gap between the promotional material and what players actually experience. As for performance, as the game is built with Unity, optimization depends heavily on your hardware and the graphics API you're using. Some devices run it smoothly, while others experience noticeable lag. Public information about the game's audio is fairly limited, but most of the feedback I've found isn't particularly positive, especially regarding the background music, so this seems to be an area that didn't receive much attention during development. Next, let's take a closer look at the combat system because it has the biggest impact on your overall gameplay experience. The game uses a turn-based card battle system, where each turn you choose a card to perform actions such as attacking, defending, or activating special skills. This is a very familiar formula in Japanese games. It's easy to learn, but without creative mechanics, it can become repetitive fairly quickly. What's disappointing is that instead of recreating Dragon Ball's signature mechanics like key charging to build up power or skill-based combo systems that require precise execution, the game simplifies everything into swiping, dodging, and tapping cards to perform combos. Signature attacks like Kamehameha and Gallic Gun are still present, but they appear to function as individual cooldown-based skills instead of being integrated into the fast-paced, seamless combat flow that fans know from the anime and manga. For longtime fans of Dragon Ball action games could be a major disappointment because the gameplay is much slower and clearly designed for casual play rather than offering a high-skill combat experience that rewards timing, precision, and quick reflexes. So, after spending time with Dragon Ball Legendary Warrior, what are its biggest strengths and weaknesses? On the positive side, the game makes excellent use of the Dragon Ball brand to attract its massive fan base. Second, the Gacha system featuring unique transformation forms, including several forms that never appeared in the original series, is easily its biggest selling point and gives fans something exciting to collect. Third, the gameplay is simple and approachable, making it a good choice for players who just want a casual experience without having to think too much. On the downside, its biggest weakness is the lack of originality. The combat system, card mechanics, and meta-focused team building all follow formulas that have already become extremely common in mobile gacha games with very little innovation. Second, the graphics and overall performance are inconsistent, and there's a noticeable gap between the game's marketing and the actual player experience. Finally, the combat itself is fairly repetitive and lacks strategic depth, failing to capture the fast, explosive, and intense fighting spirit that defines the Dragon Ball series. Overall, if you approach Dragon Ball Legendary Warrior as a casual anime-style mobile gacha game where you collect characters, enjoy different transformation forms, and simply have fun for a while, then it can be a decent way to pass the time. However, if you're expecting a deep combat experience that truly captures the essence of Dragon Ball like Xenoverse or Kakarot, you'll almost certainly be disappointed because these games are built for completely different audiences and have vastly different production values. Those are my most objective thoughts after playing Dragon Ball Legendary Warrior. I hope this review gives you a clear idea of what to expect before deciding whether it's worth trying. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel so I can continue making more high-quality reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.